You've probably used viewports and Paperspace in your drawings. In fact, we've already worked with them a little bit in this video. But have you ever used them in model space? If so, then great. But if not, well, they're not what you think. They're called viewports, and they've been in AutoCAD for a very long time. But Paperspace viewports and model space viewports are a little different. Paperspace has only been around in AutoCAD since release 11. I know, we're on AutoCAD 2013 here, which I believe is the 27th version. So they have been around for a long time. But when I started using AutoCAD, we didn't have Paperspace. I'm glad that it's been added, and it makes things much easier. But viewports and Paperspace give you a view of your model. Viewports and model space do that too, but it's not for drawing creation purposes. It's for modeling purposes. Model space is where your data goes, your drawing, your information. Paperspace is where your drawing information goes, dimensions, notes, title blocks, etc. Viewports and model space give you multiple perspectives of the same model. This allows you to work from different perspectives simultaneously. It's very useful when modeling a 3D object, or when working on very large projects. When you start a drawing, model space has one viewport, or a single. You can work with as many as 4 different viewports in model space at a time. It divides your drawing screen up into sections. So let's type in the word viewports. Press enter. And here we've typically made a single viewport in Paperspace. And this is a preview of what it's going to look like. Now you can use 1, 2, 3, or 4 viewports simultaneously in model space. If we pick the 2 vertical, this is what it's going to look like. It'll split your screen and you'll have 2 different viewports. These aren't 2 different files, it's the same file. So if I were to draw a circle, it shows up over here. Why? Because it's the same model. I'm just looking at it from 2 different perspectives. You know which model you're working in because the crosshairs are in that model space viewport and it's highlighted. See this white thick border that comes around here. Now to activate the other viewport, I just click once in it. Your nav bar, if you have it on, will pop up over there too. See, right, left. Anything I do in one viewport happens to the other because it's the same model. I'm just looking at it twice. So I can take this perspective, and if I use my 3D orbit, I can rotate. If I use the press pull command, I can select it and stretch this up, and now I've made a cylinder. See, in this isometric view here, I can see what that cylinder looks like. I can even change it to a conceptual view, and over here, it still looks the same. But I can change views from top to left. And there it is. And it zooms me in. Let's change this to something else so that we can kind of see what it looks like. And there you go. So I can make changes to this. I can move it. And you can see that it's moving on the other view. Now this is very useful, as I'll show you later on. But if we type in our viewports command again, and we can go to 2 horizontal, or we can go with 3, with a big one on the right, 2 smaller ones on the left, or the opposite, or 2 on bottom, a big one on the top, again just the opposite, 3 vertical that are all the same, or 3 horizontal that are all the same. Now typically what you're probably going to want to do is use a single, or use 2 vertical, or use 4 equal. Now you can do this here as well, which is kind of nice. But if we go to 4 equal, click OK, you can see it gives us 4 different viewports of the same object. Now here I can go to an isometric. Here I can switch to a top view. Here I can switch to a front view. And then here I can switch to a right view. Your 3 basic orthogonal projection views, and then an isometric view. This will allow you to work in the top, work in the front, and work in the right. This is great when you're making a 3D model. Let's open up the beam file, model-beam, click open. Now when you open up multiple viewports, it's only in that drawing. So it won't happen to any of your other drawings, so you don't have to worry about messing those up. Let's type in viewports, and let's go with our 4 equal again. And I'll set this one up here to be an isometric. That one's at top. We'll make this one a front. And we'll make this one the right. Now I can look at my different views, right, front, top, and an isometric. So I can work in my top view, and I can zoom in, zoom out, and I can pan around. And I can even change this view if I want at any time. I can make it the front. And I can even change, for example, this view style. This one has some materials added to it so that I can see what it's going to look like, and I can work. So here I'm in the top view, and I can work with these bolt heads that are in this top view. I can look at them in the front and do some work here or on the right. It makes it very easy. It makes it kind of like old school drafting on the board with my different views. But as I change any of these, you can see it gets selected in my different views, which will help me to visualize what I'm doing. If I make a change, let's say just delete, it's deleted everywhere because it's just one model. You're looking at it from 4 different perspectives.